Okay, so first you make sure that you have a scrap of wallpaper that is, clearly this is big enough, but you want to have a scrap of wallpaper where you're going to be able to match the pattern up. So this one is going to work fine, but clearly. Okay, so I'm going to take my scrap of wallpaper and I'm going to use scissors just to cut it down so that it's a little bit more manageable in size. I put the outlet cover back on the wall. There's no screw in it, so it's not screwed in, it's just sitting on there. And then I'm gonna take my smaller scrap of paper and I have spray adhesive, which can get kind of smelly and messy. And if it was better weather, I might do this outside, but you don't have a whole lot of time to work with it. So I'm doing it inside and I just have everything plasticed off. And you don't need a lot of it, so you don't need to spray anything super, super heavy. So I'm just gonna spray the back of this nice and lightly. I'm gonna give it like a second to get tacky. And then this is where it becomes a little more time sensitive. So this is where you have to kind of keep your fingers crossed a little bit, but it should hypothetically work. You're gonna match up this pattern fairly loosely. You don't wanna push it into the wallpaper because it's got the tackiness on it, but you're just gonna kind of keep it loose and have it match up with the pattern. And then I'm just gonna touch it so that it connects with that outlet. And once it connects with that outlet, just like a sticker, I'm gonna peel it off. So it is now stuck in about the right place. Okay, so now this is all still sticky. I'm gonna use my scissors, don't use your best scissors on this because it's gonna get gunky with the spray adhesive. So I'm gonna cut about an inch around the outside of the outlet cover. So there's the outside. And then I'm going to, if I think something's a little bit too big, trim it down a little bit more. And then the corners, it's just like wrapping a present, really. The corners are it's the part that is the worst. So I cut off the corners like this. And again, this is why you use your gross scissors, because everything gets skunked on it. And then I'm gonna cut a little slit at each of the corners. And this is just gonna make it wrap a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to fold everything in. If I've got little bits of cut off pieces, I can take those off there. If I feel like I haven't cut enough off, I can still trim some more off if I need to, but you're just gonna wrap it around like a present and tuck it on the inside. So, looks like this. I've got my craft knife here, and so this is the easy part. You're just gonna take a piece of cardboard, or I've got a cutting board that I'm using for this because you don't want to damage whatever you're working on. And then you're just going to trace the line of inside of the outlet. So the plastic is your guide here, which makes everything really super easy. You just try to get right up against the outside. And then you flip it over, and then you can punch those out, which is way more fun than it should be. And then you have to just make a little hole for the screw. And I found with my craft knife, can kind of go through the back if I want to, but I usually just find it in the front. It's pretty easy. And I just go in and hit it from both sides like an X. And there's everything cut out. All right, so now I've got my outlet cover and I've got my screw, which I used just a little bit of permanent marker on to make it black. Although I could have left it cream colored because it would have gone with the gold, but if you need it to match the wallpaper, you can just use marker or paint or something on that screw head. And I'm just gonna put that in place. And screw that in. And the pattern matches up with the wallpaper.